Edmond, Guthrie, Edmond Airport Advisory Committee order. Looks like we've got a quorum. We've got 2 people missing. Did we have any public comments?
There were none out there.
Okay.
Collect that just to make
Chris just came in, I think he signed up for.
If we're good on public comments, sorry.
We do have,
There are none.
oh, okay.
I just forgot to grab it.
Oh, okay. Approval of the minutes of the board meeting of February the 10th. Everybody got a copy?
I'll move the minutes are approved as written.
I'd second that.
We got a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Looks like the ayes have it. Discussion of the airport manager's report and monthly financials.
All right. Well, I know we, just to give you a brief update, we did miss the March meeting, and, or we had that was canceled, and that was because I was at the Oklahoma Airport Operators Association and the South Central chapter of the American Association Airport Executive annual meeting in Tulsa. It was a wonderful conference, really hit on the key issues that are affecting our airport, everything from our snow removal in the area. Here, I mean, we definitely deal with it a lot differently than, say, North Dakota or Maine has to deal with snow removal. And so ours is a little bit more sporadic, and generally we don't have the equipment, the same type of equipment that they have. So it really gets into the basics of what you're dealing with in those areas. And then also hit the policy issues of what's going on with the Pilot Protection Act and the third-class medical, which is going to greatly affect airports if that does pass. And then also to the state level of OACs.
Can you go into a little detail on that?
On the Pilots Protection Act?
Yeah.
Basically, it's a Pilots Protection Act. It's a second version of that. And Gail, you can chime in anytime you want since you're ALPASN.
They've got 2 different deals going right now. The FAA has got a notice of proposed rulemaking that I think has been sitting over in DOT for about a year. Anyway, Senator Inhofe came out with the Pilots Protection Act number 2, and on it, they'll do away with the third-class medical for people that fly recreational. Both, the scuttlebutt is that the FAA's NPRM will be published in about May. And from what I hear, Inhofe says he don't care, he's moving forward, and they're probably going to stick it on a bill that Obama will sign. So if that goes, then the FAA's move will be moot, because once Congress decides something, the FAA gets on board.
So third-class medical is like ultralight then, or?
Well, no, your third-class medical is what you hold right now
Right.
for your private pilots, and then you would be able to not have to go and renew your medical at that point if you met the criteria of under, it was a 6 persons on the plane under 1,200
Yeah,
or
if
12,000 pounds.
Inhofe goes through, it's,
Correct.
I think, 6,000-pound
Is it?
aircraft, 6 passengers, and basically that's less than 14,000 feet, and VFR, and day.
Listen. Oh,
Altitude.
altitude,
Yeah,
VFR.
yeah. But it'll be basically the same as,
Daylight too.
yeah. The sport pilots have been doing this for 10 years and have an excellent record. So this is something that it's going to happen. It's just a case of when.
And that same Pilot Protection Act covers different areas that deal with the airports that we really concentrated on, such as NOTAMs, and where our central NOTAM agency would be, we have to call Dallas-Fort Worth to be able to input the NOTAMs, whereas this would make it a more user-friendly area for the pilots and the airports to input the NOTAMs and pilots to see it, and also be able to rank NOTAMs of importance in certain areas, so where your runway closed isn't way down in the list of NOTAMs.
So each airport would have to sort through those?
No, there would be a ranking system it would be a computer-generated model that would be.
Oh,
ranking
it's
them.
done like flight planning is now, you call in and you don't know where they're reading it from, but they're reading your local weather. It's been that way since it went private, what, 5 years ago?
Yeah, basically, it would just be able to rank the NOTAMs, so if you called
Yeah.
and they gave you the NOTAMs, they'd read them off, but they'd give you an order of importance. But generally, if you jump online to be able to get your NOTAMs, it would create a one-source user point for them. So it was a fantastic conference, it was really good, the airport showed well there, we was given the award for, it's called an Attaboy Award, and it's an award shown for kind of the most, I don't know how it says it on the award, I'd have to go read it, but it basically, really large participant in OAOA and helping make things possible, and so it was just an honor to receive that. As far as our airport is concerned, we have two projects that we're currently working on that we'll discuss later on in the agenda. The top line in the airport manager's report concerning fiscal year 2012 FAA project. That is, for all intents and purposes, completed. The reason it's still on there is we are working the back end paperwork and grants. We should be getting a amendment to the total project grant in the sum of about, I believe, $115,000 that we'll be requesting from the FAA that will most likely show up in September timeframe. And basically, they're reimbursing us for costs that we went over the grant with. As far as hangar development, as you've seen when you drove in, hangar 6A with Mr. Bob Sheehan is still working on the structure. Radial Engines is operating out of hangar 2 as a sub hangar to their business. And Blue Skies Flight School is operating out of hangar 4, and we have Matt Cole here with us, who is the owner there. They had their dedication and opening on Sunday, and it was just a great event. Had to be over 100 people out there, and just a really neat, grand opening. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Airport services and projects, like I said, we're working on Pilot's Lounge and the Wi-Fi hotspot security camera projects. That too will be discussed later on in the agenda. Airport insurance, we've been trying to find ways to be able to better the airport in areas that kind of have always been broke, so we don't fix it. And so we're looking at areas. The airport insurance, while at the conference, I met a representative from Global Aerospace Insurance Company. And when we apply for our insurance through OMAG, we generally get one quote from one company. And it was ACE Insurance. And they've been great, and we've never had to go a claim against it. Through Global Aerospace, we were able to significantly drop our insurance costs while increasing our premiums. And so it's been wonderful in that respect. We're still in the process of securing those insurance policies. But for the most part, we cut it that much.
Half?
In half. Basically, our bill for the liability insurance for the airport and public entity insurance that covers you and the councils, it comes out to about $6,500 a year. And we've been able to drop that down to about $3,500 a year without decreasing coverage. So it's significant in being able to look forward to that, into that. I guess that it paid for the whole conference right there for us, you know.
I was looking at the liability insurance, which has gone up 250%. This may be a different matter, but it was from $10,000 in 12 to 25,000 in 15.
What they do on that is they take into account our construction projects. And so a normal year for the airport of just baseline operating budget is gonna be anywhere, around 200,000. But then when you throw in the fiscal year 2012 project that lasted through 14, that went from 200,000 to, including capital, up above $1.3 million. So it was a significant increase in the construction project. And they don't care who's paying for that project, even the FAA was paying 90%. But, they see dollar figure at the end, we spent $1.3 million here. And so if we have large projects, the insurance tends to go up. And that's the great thing about this Global Aerospace company, is they do a 3-year locked-in premium. And so for the next 3 years, we'll be able to see that same number, and it'll really help us out in budgeting on that side of things.
So our $25,000 projection for premium for 15 is way high.
For 50, we've just gotten the numbers today. So the budget numbers are accurate as of when this agenda went out. As far as getting the numbers updated, we also have to take into account all the liability insurances for employee insurances, everything into that. So $25,000 is high, but you gotta think that we're only talking about 1/4 of that budget right now out of these two line items. And then also, like I said, we were working on a 2016 budget, which will be discussed. As far as buildings and grounds, we've had the sign light repaired down at our front entrance. If you've been able to drive out here at night, that is now lit up with two magnificent LED lights that will apparently last forever if you listen to the spiel about it. So they are phenomenal. Really lights up the sign, and it's been a shame that it's been dark for so long, but we're really happy that it's back up and lit. We're preparing mowing equipment, and we've been out mowing this week. Been spraying weeds until it started raining here. We've been removing trees along the fence line, which is a significant issue every spring as we get that new growth starting to grow up into the fences, and we're trying to make sure that we don't destroy our current fences. And we also had a internet outage at the airport, and it's amazing how much you think you don't rely on internet until it goes out and it's gone. And so we had to found out through a bunch of troubleshooting that it was actually our modem and router. And so we replaced that, and we're back in business there. And there is one other item that came in late that I'm gonna add to the airport manager's report, and we were notified in a letter from a resident near the airport here that we had some fallen trees down on Prairie Grove Road off the approach end on the south. And so we're currently gonna get that cleaned up, and just wanna let you be aware of it. And I have the letter here if you'd like to read it at some point after the meeting. But basically, there was some large trees falling down in that area, and it is a piece of property that the airport does own in the approach end, but can be forgotten about. And so we're gonna get those large trees removed out of the ditches and
Outside the
cleaned up.
fence?
Outside the fence.
We own,
Yeah.
how much property there?
Randall's, 16 acres between the Blue House and the Wilkins property.
I can't remember, to tell you the truth.
It possibly, let's call it 10 to 15 acres.
And generally, it's our job to keep that clear.
And we work in conjunction with municipal services for the city of Guthrie, who generally goes out and cleans up the Blue House and does that. But these are some large trees. We're gonna take the airport tractor down.
I don't know what cleaning up the blue house means.
They're in the approach
down
end.
there.
It's a residence?
There's a blue house that was purchased. It's no longer a residence. It's just it's a structure in the approach zone on the border of the approach zone. So it's allowed to stay there, but it didn't have to be torn down. But I think eventually it probably will be. But that whole area is associated with
I
that.
thought it was airport talk for Radio Box.
I apologize for that. And as far as community involvement, the fly-in day has been selected as September 26th, 2015. And the Aviation Association is well underway of getting some great things planned.